our nation. And if you look at it from that perspective, what is the history and tradition of the Ten Commandments, of the of Judeo-Christian values? And the simple fact is that those form the bedrock of our country. And ironically, the Ten Commandments are on display in many government places across this country. At the Texas State Capitol, at the U.S. Supreme Court itself, the Ten Commandments can be found. So if you look at it from that perspective, to simply acknowledge history should not raise any kind of constitutional concerns at all. And I would say that teachers across this country should not be afraid or censored from showing that part of themselves. We actually have a client in Connecticut, Marisol Castro, who actually just today was giving testimony before the Religious Liberty Commission. She was pulled out of the classroom for having a crucifix up on the wall by her desk that meant something personal to her about her faith. She wasn't trying to evangelize. She wasn't trying to declare her faith to the students or force them to follow her faith. She simply wanted it there as an encouragement throughout the school day. And for that, she stands to lose her job. And so First Liberty is going to continue fighting for teachers so that their faith can be respected in the classroom.
You're sitting around in your boardroom, in your office, what's the number one topic, or what's the number one focus of all the things that y'all are attacking? What's the most dire thing that's going on right now that we need to be aware of?
That is a great question, because when we're thinking about those kinds of things, we're not just thinking about what's happening right now, but what's going to be the next thing that comes along after that. And for myself, when I speak to this from First Liberty's perspective, I think parental rights are a very big thing right now. I think we've had some victories there, but there's more to be done, I think. I think that, for example, the U.S. Supreme Court just this past term, in a case called Mahmoud versus Taylor, it was a case with facts pretty similar to the Encinas case that I talked about, where parents wanted to opt their children out of a certain LGBT-type curriculum, and they won that case at the U.S. Supreme Court. So the question is, what's going to happen next? Well, there are some other exciting things that are happening across this country when it comes to children being able to learn about faith during the school day. And I think Texas actually passed a law on this not too long ago, where schools are now required to release children, at least for a couple hours during the week, to go and receive religious instruction should a parent want the child to be able to do so. So things like that are a very promising thing, I think, for parents to keep in mind for the future. It is another way to continue to have their children being exposed to the Word of God on a regular basis. And another one that I would say is very important is this whole criminalizing compassion movement that we're seeing across the country. We are seeing a lot of governments using the petty tools of governments to shut down these kinds of ministries because they deal with people that cities might deem undesirable, people that maybe they wish weren't part of their community. I mean, the truth is that these people are part of the community whether the city wants them there or not. The question is, what are you going to do to help these people? And the government has shown itself entirely incapable of caring for these people in the way that it's required. So it's up to churches to step up to do something about that. And we're seeing churches try, but the cities doesn't like the way they're doing it, so they're trying to shut it down. So I would say that that's another very important area. Mm-hmm.
And some of these colleges actually presenting elective courses about religion, and usually presenting seminars because y'all want to talk about that.
I think there's a big push to get back on college campuses right now. I think that's what Charlie Kirk was all about, right? Going there and confronting these people, because for far too long we have seeded college campuses as being these sort of hot places that are hostile to faith, and these places where our young people go to get indoctrinated by ideas that are completely foreign to Christians and completely in opposition to our faith. And so I think it's vital for us to go in there and to show these people at that young and impressionable age that there is another way. And I think that, frankly, these people are receptive to it. I think that where this revival is going to be happening first is going to be in that younger demographic. We've been seeing this trend line for years of growing, where young people, especially young men, are returning to church, and they're yearning for truth and for faith. When you think about people today in the world that they're growing up in, it's so much different from the world that we grew up in. I mean, every kid has a smartphone. Every kid has access to AI and all of these things that would be unthinkable to us. And even despite having access to more knowledge than any time in human history, they have a yearning for truth because they can't find it despite having something that supposedly has all the answers. And so I think that yearning is going to help turn people back to the ultimate source of truth. Mm-hmm. We are absolutely working to support Kelly and the commission in all of the important work that they're doing. We've been blessed so far that many of our clients have been invited to tell their story. I think I mentioned Shay. I mean, you mentioned Jeremy testified. We had Keisha Russell, another attorney of ours, testify today. And Coach Kennedy was there today as well. And so we've been blessed to have quite a few of our clients going up there. And just by telling their story, that tells so much, that lets the commission know so much about what is going on. Absolutely. Yeah, we are friends with all those people. Like I said at the outset about how does First Liberty work? Well, one of our core values at First Liberty is humility, which means when we go and take on these cases and we see what's going on, it's not about me, it's not about First Liberty, it's about what is God doing. And so we want to build a coalition. We want to work alongside all the different groups that are doing this kind of important work. So we absolutely do look for opportunities to partner with them or support them in their cases as well. Because it's going to take all of us to accomplish this.
Do you see a end of the ISD, Independent School District? They're not independent today. They're dependent upon federal money. The teachers' union is telling them what they can teach and can't teach. And our school book, 5 years ago, there was a drive, there was over 400 books left at one library in this county because they were required to get rid of them.
What's the question?
Just one, we can start ourselves. Since the school district is not independent, get rid of the word ISD. Be proud of yourself. Eastland School District. But get rid of that ISD. We've been through it long enough.
Yeah, I think you're highlighting many of the issues that we see in public education today. And in many ways, I mean, there are a lot of issues there, and it goes down to the school board level, which is why I think it's important for all of us to be aware of what's going on. For a long time, Christians just didn't show up. They just let people in the type of entities you were talking about who are hostile to the Christian faith and don't want any part of that to be in the schools, or to be for the schools to even be open for anything like that to happen on school campuses. And so now we're seeing a pushback across the country against those school boards, and parents are now waking up and realizing, you know, I'm responsible for the well-being of my child. I can't just check out every day from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock and just hope everything goes great at the school where I have no idea who's teaching my kids or what they're teaching my kids. And so being involved at the parent level, being involved at the school board level, and if you feel so called to be involved to get into those school boards, and when people of faith get on the school boards, then you're the ones making that decision, and then you can make choices that better reflect the values of the community. All right, well,
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all.
We truly appreciate you again. Let's get Ryan a hand tonight. Appreciate him coming out, and what a great blessing, brother. I appreciate you. Church, thank y'all so much for the meal tonight, providing that and providing the facilities here.